guys, it's RocketMax32 here, and today we are back with another video. In today's video, we are going to be doing an updated LEGO clone collection. I have so many LEGO clones, the case has gotten so massive. Today we're going to pull out all of the new clones since my last update video and just kind of go over how the collection's organized and my plans for the collection. Alrighty, first we're going to go through how I've decided to organize my clone collection. And if you don't care about this, there will be timestamps on the timeline and you can just skip to the new clones. But first of all, we're going to talk about how this is laid out. So let's just jump right into it, top to bottom. Up here, we have Phase 2 clones with no helmet holes in these 16 right here. So that includes a lot of different clone troopers without helmet holes, and then some non-Phase 2 clone troopers with helmet holes that match their twin. Obviously, some of those might have to come out because there are a few more variants of Phase 2 helmet with no helmet holes, but that is what that section is. Up here is an interesting section that just happened to work out perfectly. We have the old style Phase 2 troopers and the Bad Batch. So the Bad Batch takes up those 5, and the old style will take up all the rest of these. So we are missing 3, they will fit there, and that's perfect. Moving down to this middle case of 16, if you can see the line there, is Phase 2 clones with the helmet warts. So we have a bunch in here, and obviously plenty of room to expand because basically all of LEGO's new clones, Phase 2 wise at least, are going to end up in here. Over on this side, we have a little case of 8, and these are all non-Phase 1, non-Phase 2 clones. So currently we have our ARF troopers in here, our ARC troopers in here. Obviously Fives is using a Phase 2 helmet, but he's an ARC trooper. We have some other randoms like the Akbar trooper and stuff like that. So again, we will go into the new ones, of course, but Phase 3, we have Airborne. This is just a small case. This will probably have to be updated to a 16 case, especially if these 3 end up in there. But that is my non-Phase 1, non-Phase 2, or you could just call it the specialty case. Going across the way, we have the pilots case. And now this is non-Phase 1 pilots, so basically all Phase 2. And we have all of the ARC 170 pilots, which are new, and we will get into those, and a couple other pilots that we will also get into. Moving just below, this is my Phase 1 clone collection. So all of my Phase 1 troopers are currently in here. It's pretty remarkable how much less Phase 1 I own than Phase 2, but I think that's just kind of an indication of the recent trends in LEGO Star Wars. But this is my Phase 1 collection. And moving right along to clearly the most expensive case. I think, I haven't actually added it up, but these are the commanders. So trying to keep the commanders together, we have the 2 Phase 2 Grees with Phase 1 Gree underneath, the Phase 2 Cody with Phase 1 Cody underneath, and there's a second variant of Phase 1 Cody, so he will go there, and they'll make a nice little thing. We have all of our Rexes, stuff like that. So this is our commanders case, and well, this is probably going to need to be expanded as well. Now that we have gone through the actual layout of all of the cases, let's jump into all of the new clone troopers that I've added to my collection, starting over in the pilot case, because well, actually all of them are new. We have the 3 ARC 170 pilots from the set that came out earlier this year. We have the V-Wing pilot, which I recently got. Don't actually remember when I got him. He may have been in the last video, but I believe he's new. And down below, we have a clone trooper with a funny story. Before I decided that I wanted to collect all of the clone troopers, I had a Z95 Headhunter, and I sold it to my friend because I didn't really care about it and I wanted other stuff. Well, I lost a lot of really cool minifigures with that, so he decided he wanted to start collecting clones the same time I did. So he kept my 501st pilot, and well, this is my new 501st pilot. Kind of sucks that I had to buy a clone I used to own, but well, I have him again. So that's all of my pilots. Let's jump into some of the other stuff. First up, we got some random ones. We've got the Akbar Trooper, which is just bizarre. I actually own 2 of these because I have 2 Jedi Bob Starfighters. But he's cool and technically a clone trooper. And then Omega, because she's technically a clone. This also does mean that I will get a Boba Fett in here, probably a young Boba Fett and one in his armor. And I need a Jango Fett because he's the donor for all of these guys. But we got those two. They are new additions to the clone collection, technically. But speaking of Omega in the Bad Batch, we've finished the Bad Batch. I didn't have Wrecker for the longest time, and since my last video, I have been able to get him, and I'm so thrilled to have him in the collection because, well, the Bad Batch just wasn't complete without him. Down in the Phase 1 case, we have two new additions since the last collection video, being the Red Lieutenant and the Blue Lieutenant. Now, there is a variant of the Yellow Lieutenant with no leg printing and a variant of the Blue Lieutenant with no leg printing. So I've almost got all of them, but I do officially have all of the colors. That red one is one of my favorite clone minifigures overall, but very nice to have both of those added to the collection. Way up here with the old clones, we've made a little bit of progress. We've picked up the 327th Star Corps Commander, and he just looks awesome next to the other one. The only ones we are missing here now are the Green Trooper, the Kashyyyk Scout, and a very annoying one, which is literally this guy, but with gray dots right there instead of black ones. Technically a variant and technically one we need, and those are the three that are missing. And we'll quickly cover some boring additions, mainly just being some more helmet wart clone troopers here. I don't know if you can tell, but don't love them. We've also picked up Fives, which was fun. He's definitely a pretty good minifigure. Could have been a lot better, but he's decent. And that means that the remainder of our new clone troopers are all down in the commander case. So let's zoom in and talk about it. We have had 3 Captain Rex additions in the form of a $12 microfighter, $130 Phase 2 2013 Rex, and the $100 Phase 1 Rex. Now, obviously, that's a lot of variance in price, but all of them are great. I'm a big fan of all of them. The 2013 is so nostalgic for me. It's probably my favorite. Then the Phase 1, then the newest one. The newest one just should have had a waist cape, and the prints aren't great. But you know what? They're all fun. And also, it should have stayed in the Venator, because now I haven't bought a Venator because one of the 2 minifigures I got for $12. But that's just a hot take. Over here, we had Phase 1 and Phase 2 Gree. We had the more expensive Phase 2 Gree, which if you cannot tell a difference, you are like most people. But this one right here has the brown strap on his leg, and this one has a gray strap on his leg. So we picked up the cheaper one, and now we have both of them because you know what? It's a variant. And finally, Phase 2 Fox. I've had this guy for a while now, but I've picked him up since the last clone video, so we can go ahead and show him off in this video. I'm relatively disappointed with this minifigure. He could have been so much better, but maybe my mind will be changed when I have the Phase 1 Fox chilling underneath him. And that is all of my new clone additions to the collection. So let's kind of talk about what's next for the clone collection. Obviously, I'm collecting every single one, so what's next is some combination of every variant LEGO has ever made, but let's talk more specifically. I would like to finish out the old clone troopers. The Kashyyyk Scout, the green, I believe it's 147th, and the dotted mouth, which is a very cheap minifigure, but annoying to find. I'd like to just get it over with and have a completed case. That's definitely high on my priority list. Another one is No Helmet Holes Shock Trooper, because, well, I just think it looks better than this newer Shock Trooper, and I would love to add him to the No Helmet Holes collection, though one of these will probably get booted, most likely the purple one, even though the purple regular Phase 2 is one of my favorite clone minifigures. As far as other ones, there's obviously an entire August wave with a ton of new stuff coming, but I'm not going to be buying much of that if I'm being completely honest. I made a whole video on this topic, but eventually I will need all of those clones as well. So you will eventually see the Galactic Marines in here, you will eventually see the 327th Star Corps troopers in here. You will eventually see Bly and Bakara down here, and you will eventually see the new pilot here as well. So many new clones in one wave, so all of those are relatively new on the horizon. I'm thinking about getting the MTT and the V19, so that's 2 clones right there. But everything else, I mean, even those 2 are overpriced, but everything else is like atrocious. That battle pack and the turbo tank are just horrible. I'll step down off my soapbox now. This is obviously a clone collection video, not a Lego why are your prices so high video. But that's just kind of the explanation for why those clones won't be here immediately. As far as others, there's a variant of Cody that has these pieces on him. Obviously, I could turn this one into that variant, but on Bricklink, because he came like this in a set and like that in a set, I'm counting him as a separate variant, so we will be getting him. I want to get the Phase 1 Fox soon. I think that would be so fun. I also really want the old commanders, like old Captain Rex, old Wolf, stuff like that. Obviously, also for commanders, the new ones will be coming to this case eventually as well, being Bakara and Bly. So eventually I will need to get each of them. But I also really want to get Phase 1 Wolf and the Phase 1 Wolf Pack Trooper to go over here. And kind of like I talked about earlier, my Lieutenant collection is not complete because the yellow and blue one that I have leg printing, and they're awesome and I needed them, but I need the more perfect match for these two as well. So that kind of gives you an overview of where we're at, what I'm looking at as a priority. There's obviously so many variants of clone troopers, whether they have a Santa hat or they cost $300 to $400. There are so many clone troopers that I still need, and well, I'm here for the ride. I am also starting to seriously consider a different sort of storage method. These cases are awesome and I really like them, and I definitely think they look amazing. Like, all of the clones in their own little sectioned off unit, I think looks fantastic. But with the 16 minifigure cases coming in at like $30 or $40, and the 8 minifigure cases coming in at like $20, seriously, every time that I buy a case to expand the clone collection, I'm always thinking, this money could be better spent on clones. So if y'all have any ideas for good storage solutions, I've seen some people who have like collected every Lego Star Wars minifigure and they have some aftermarket solutions. Maybe I just need to buy some wood and build something with a bunch of Lego plates in it. Maybe I need to do something else. But let me know in the comments down below what a new storage solution needs to have is to be A, cheaper, and B, have the minifigures fully enclosed. What I mean by that is these guys are never getting dusty because, well, there's a case in the front. So I've seen a lot of methods that like put them on shelves or stuff like that. Obviously, I display plenty of Lego on shelves and it gets plenty dusty. But for the clones, I really do want to keep them in an enclosure, I guess. But that's it from me and my clone collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is my 2025 update video. Obviously, it is summer of 2025, and there is a lot of 2025 left, so I would not be surprised if in December I'm making another clone update video. It just depends on how much money I'm willing to throw at Lego. But seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the support and interest, and I cannot wait to continue growing this collection and sharing the journey with y'all. Seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Peace!